HaShanah Tova, everybody. Today we join with Jewish people throughout the world, of course, to enter a new year. A new year, we pray, of goodness and blessing and healing. May the world know peace soon. On Rosh HaShanah, with hope in our hearts, we join with Jewish people on every continent on earth. Every continent on earth. Even including Antarctica, by the assumption that there are at least a couple of Jewish scientists and researchers down there now, right? Studying emperor penguins or something like that. Now, on this holy day, it's traditional to read from the Torah about the first Jewish couple, Abraham and Sarah, and Abraham's binding and near sacrifice of his son Isaac. It's a powerful story. Yet I think an equally powerful and important story, and perhaps more relevant to you and to me and to our world today, is how Abraham and Sarah welcomed others into their lives. This story of how Sarah and Abraham welcomed others could be the story of Temple Sinai and how we create and how we nourish community. So here's what originally happened. The book of Genesis relates how Abraham was once sitting at the entrance of his tent when three strangers approached him. As soon as Abraham saw them, he literally ran to greet them. That Abraham ran to greet strangers at this particular time is all the more remarkable, considering he was recovering from his recent circumcision at the advanced age of 99 years old. Circumcision at 99 years old. Poor guy. Even in his tender state, Abraham and his wife Sarah, they offered these three strangers, after he ran to greet them, they offered them water, a comfortable place to rest, and nourishing food to eat before they continued on their journey, the three. Now keep in mind, we discover from the biblical text that these three strangers were messengers of God. They were angels in the form of human beings. However, Sarah and Abraham, they didn't know that. They didn't know these guys were literally angels. All they knew was that three desert travelers had wandered upon their tent. And they responded by willingly, eagerly offering them food and drink, a place to rest, and friendly conversation. Is it any wonder that our tradition sees Abraham and Sarah as models of human hospitality? Our ancient rabbis taught that Sarah and Abraham left the tent flaps of their home open on all four sides so they could greet strangers coming from any direction. Must have been a very breezy tent. Judaism even goes so far as to say that Abraham and Sarah's extraordinary generosity and hospitality motivated them to build way stations along ancient desert paths, and they stocked these rest stops with food and drink for people who passed through. In other words, the founders of Judaism created the earliest 7-Elevens. Yet free of charge, all because of Abraham and Sarah's generous and profound hospitality. Don't we all yearn for even a morsel of such care, such concern from people in our society? In society today, there is an epidemic of loneliness. There's a desert of social interactions and community connections compared with a generation or two ago. It is a glaring and a detrimental development that's led to spikes in anxiety and depression and intense feelings of isolation. In a similar vein, churches, synagogues, mosques, communal institutions have generally experienced a precipitous decline in affiliation over the past 2 decades. Precipitous decline in affiliation. Why? Well, because people can now get many of their religious needs met by possessing just one of 2 things: a computer with internet and a smartphone with cellular service. Right? With just one of those 2 things, you can now have delicious holiday foods delivered to your door. You can stream Jewish music to your device. You can get most any Jewish book, piece of art, multicolored Sabbath candlesticks, or any religious item you can think of. You can get it all with the click of a mouse or the tap of your finger. You can even watch a well-produced religious service or listen to world-class scholars, all in the comfort of your home while wearing your favorite pajamas. We can do all that now. But the one thing that you and I cannot do with all our amazing technology now, the one thing we cannot do is this. It's this: being together, side by side, in living, breathing community. Technology does not allow us to feel the embrace of another when we're suffering. It cannot let us experience the joy of a meal eaten together with a community. And it does not simulate the feeling, the energy, and the spirit of a group of people right at your side. This is the secret of the synagogue. This is the lesson of Jewish living. It is precisely what the very founders of Judaism, Abraham and Sarah, knew, and it's what they practiced. That healthy and fulfilling religion, healthy and fulfilling Jewish life and community are ultimately about relationships. It's all about relationships. This is what we crave as social creatures. This is what we need in our lives to feel fulfilled and to flourish. This is the natural inoculation that's always protected us against the scourge of social isolation and loneliness. God says as much in the opening chapters of the Torah. Seeing the first human being, Adam, by himself, God says, it is not good for a human being to be alone. It's not good to be alone. Combined to this wisdom of Torah, the profound insight of Martin Buber, a sublime Jewish philosopher of the 20th century who famously wrote, echoing the first word of the entire Jewish Bible, in the beginning. Wrote Buber, in the beginning is relationships. to which we can add, in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end is relationship. Our connections with others, our relationships, are the life-sustaining cords and bonds throughout our lives. We know they are oxygen to our hearts. They are oxygen to our souls and to our communal life. And if you believe there is some truth to this, if you know relationships to be fundamental to your life and to your well-being, well then, we at Temple Sinai would like to invite you to take part in something we're building here this year. It's a relationship-based approach to Judaism and to what we do in our temple community. Think of it as relational Judaism. Relational Judaism, that's the term coined by Dr. Ron Wolfson, who's just down the freeway in Encino. Ron Wolfson is an expert in excellence in Jewish communal life. He's a decades-long researcher and professor at American Jewish University. He's traveled around the country for decades, visiting hundreds of synagogues and Jewish community centers and federations. You name it. Ron Wolfson has been there and he's studied it. And he is convinced that for Judaism to thrive in the 21st century and beyond, we need to prioritize relationships in everything that we do in Jewish life. Everything. In every program, in every gathering, in every service, and in every meeting. In every Jewish activity that we engage in with temple life, we need to prioritize our relationships with one another because they are foundational, because they are necessary to anything that we do. Anything that we do in life, and anything that we do to build and sustain sacred community. Our relationships are foundational and necessary to anything and to everything. As Dr. Wolfson so poignantly and insightfully says, and I love this, we don't just belong to a temple, we belong to each other. We belong to each other. That's a flourishing temple. That's a true community. So how do we create this? How do we maintain this at Temple Sinai? Well, imagine, if you will, a circle of friends here at Temple Sinai that you share and that you practice your Judaism with. A circle of friends. Imagine having Sabbath meals together from time to time. Imagine going to cultural events together on occasion. Imagine volunteering together for an important project that you care about, that contributes to the larger community and makes the world better. If you have young children, picture yourself with other parents here at Temple Sinai, sharing stories and experiences, gathering in each other's homes as your kids play together, or you employ a sitter, and you get to enjoy some adult conversations with new friends and old friends that don't revolve around planning soccer schedules and activity pickups. If you're a teen or a young person, and I see you here today, we see you. If you're a teen or a young person, picture yourself hanging out with friends from Temple. And I see two people right there who do very frequently. Picture yourself hanging out with friends from Temple, enjoying fun activities together, having a bite to eat, and sharing your interests with each other. This year, we are revitalizing our teen youth group at Temple Sinai with our fabulous new Director of Education and Youth Engagement, Ronit Lieberman. No matter your age, picture yourself in a small affinity group from the Temple. In a group of Temple friends that, say, go hiking, or bike ride together, or play pickleball. We did that at our last Temple retreat. It was a lot of fun. If you want to have an engaging conversation about Israel, imagine getting together with a small group of 5 to 10 people from the Temple to discuss it in an honest, in a heartfelt, and in a thoughtful way that respects a diversity of opinions and viewpoints. Imagine being part of that. Or if you want to cook together, or crochet, play poker, drink wine or whiskey, learn more about Jewish topics of interest, listen to Jewish music, see Jewish movies, talk about and do social justice, or simply share the names of recommended vendors for upcoming B'nai Mitzvah ceremonies and receptions. Small groups of people in our Temple community meeting together and connecting with each other can deeply enrich our Judaism and our lives. It builds, it fosters relationships of friendship, relationships of belonging. That sense of community that our parents and our grandparents knew and they experienced, it can be ours too. And it can be there for our children and for our grandchildren. So if any of this sounds appealing to you, if there was just one thing that resonated with you, or struck a positive chord, or got you thinking about a small affinity group that you would like to be a part of, we invite you to get involved. We invite you to get involved by simply writing your name down on a card and tell us what small group you'd be interested in. We'll do the rest. At our Rosh HaShanah luncheon, right after the service today, we'll have some postcards on the table that look like this. You can fill it out in less than a minute after you enjoy some tuna salad. Just a name and what you might be interested in. Such small groups have proven to be the backbone of flourishing and joyful Jewish communities across the country and in North America. And we want that for you and for your religious, spiritual, and social lives. And we want that for Temple Sinai. We want our Temple community to always be a place where you feel that you belong. A place where we belong to each other. So we invite you to help us realize this in the new year. Our New Year's resolution of a relational Judaism that nourishes you, that uplifts you, and that enriches your life. So please fill out a postcard at lunch, or send us an email to the Temple office if you can't make lunch here today, or if you're watching on our live stream. And if you're visiting us today and you're not yet fully a member of our Temple community, we invite you to fill out a card too, with your name and your small group interests. Like Abraham and Sarah, we welcome you into our tent and we want you too to participate in our temple life. All are welcome. Well, we pray that this new year is filled with loving community. Filled with loving community. That it's filled with an engaging Judaism for you and for your family. May this be a new year of peace and goodness and blessing for you, for your loved ones, for the Jewish people, and for all people throughout the world. Shana Tova, everybody.